Welcome back to Winners and Losers, the show that looks at the highs and the lows from around world football this weekend. Patrick Van Straten is back on Football Daily, everyone, on a Winners and Losers, a rare sight. Today, we're looking at the first winner, which is Antoine Griezmann, and comes from JC791 on Twitter. Why is that, Pato?
He got 2 goals and an assist in the space of 10 minutes as Atletico Madrid absolutely battered Levante 5-0 this weekend. He's now got 3 goals in his last 2 games, having managed 3 goals in his previous 13 appearances. Oof. So finally rediscovering some form, and it is about time. The Rojiblancos need it. It's only their 3rd league win in over 2 months.
Not good enough.
They remain without a home victory in the league since September 23rd. Basically, the Wonder curse is pretty much the Spanish version of the Wembley curse, but real. But this one's actually real. However, they do remain unbeaten this campaign, and this result takes them above Real Madrid on goal difference. That's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it's a funny old game, actually, because Levante maybe got battered, but they weren't as bad as it appears. They actually had 17 shots in this game. That's more than Atletico Madrid had on paper, but they managed just 2 of those 17 on target, whereas Atleti managed 11. That is really clinical stuff. The hosts were extremely error-prone at the back. The first 2 goals were terrible Levante mistakes, but alongside Griezmann, also want to talk a little bit about Gameiro, because the pair were fantastic together. They scored 4 of the 5 goals and both assisted each other. Really nice combinations between them. They managed 7 shots on target, 6 key passes, and averaged an 83% pass accuracy. That is great for 2 strikers, and Simeone needed it. Let's be frank, Simeone really needed it. So did Antoine Griezmann, because he was much hyped in the summer. It's a World Cup year, and I'm sure he's going to want a big move next summer. But where will he go? Or will he stay at Atletico Madrid? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Our first losers of the week are Tottenham Hotspur, and this comes from @GoonerJHH. Joe, elaborate on what they did badly.
Well, nearly interrupted you there, but it was Tottenham 1, West Brom 1. Yes, Tottenham failing to beat a managerless and rudderless West Bromwich Albion at Wembley. The Wembley curse strikes again. Forget your Wonder curse. This is the real story. They now have 1 win in 4 games. They are, in my opinion, officially out of the title race. They're 13 points now off Manchester City, and City are not going to drop 13 points between now and the end of the season. They're 5 off Man United. That's a long way. Spurs were dominant. You'd expect them to be dominant against West Brom at home. 73% possession, 25 shots. But they only managed to get 5 of those on target, not what you're expecting from the likes of Harry Kane. They've also now conceded 4 goals in their last 5 games, having kept 4 clean sheets in 5 before that, so not good enough at the back either. What is going on for Pochettino's men? It's all starting to unravel a little bit. They've dropped 9 points as well in 7 games at Wembley. That is just not good enough for a team that you're kind of thinking at the start of the season might push for a title this season, especially when you consider that they dropped the same amount of points in the previous 23 before that at White Hart Lane, I believe. Yeah, at White Hart Lane. One bonus though, Harry Kane continues to be involved in goals. He was involved in his 100th Premier League goal in just 128 games. That's 87 goals. 13 assists. He's now scored 47 goals in 45 appearances for club and country. He just continues to roll on. He's an absolute machine, but West Brom will be delighted with this because they've been turd.
Yeah, they have been absolutely dreadful. They had Gary Megson in charge for this game. He hasn't managed in the Prem since 2009. I believe he's got a career win percentage in the top flight of 21.7%. But don't worry, Baggies fans, because it looks like Alan Pardew's going to be in. And as we know, what does he like? He likes a big defensive squad set up for basically only Tony Pulis. It should be really exciting.
And he also really likes the so beep that there, beep that. Keep them guessing.
West Brom now haven't won since August. That's 12 games. They're 1 point above 18th place West Ham. They've kept 2 clean sheets in their last 25 away games. And bear in mind that under Tony Pulis, this used to be a side that went to clubs and just shut up shop. Like, you could not get through them. And now they look extremely porous. But this fixture has seen a lot of draws for whatever reason. I guess 2 defences maybe cancelling each other out. The last 4 out of the last 5 have been draws. It's actually the second most drawn game in Premier League history.
Stats
Fun stats there. And if you're a fan of footballing excitement, then check out West Brom's next fixture, which is against Newcastle.
Ooh.
Imagine that. Pardew, Benitez. Oh my God. Whereas Spurs go
Sexy.
off to Leicester, which might genuinely be watchable. But anyway, will West Brom stay up this season? We don't know. Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Our next winner, yet again, is Watford. This one comes from Theo Swansea on Twitter. They keep rolling on, Pato.
They do indeed. They beat Newcastle 3-0 away this weekend. That's their biggest ever Premier League away win. It's actually their second clean sheet in a row. It's their biggest win in the top flight since 1956 when they beat Chelsea 5-1. They're now up to 8th. They're 2 points off Liverpool. They're a point off Burnley. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the table this season.
Madness.
And it's actually the 7th time this season they've scored 2 goals away from home.
Marco
They've won
Miracles.
more points away this season than in the whole of last
It's
season.
incredible. Marco Miracle Silva stepping up to the plate.
I mean, that's also an indication of how bad they were away last season. They got 12 points in 19. This season, they've got 13 points after 7. And we want to highlight a couple of players. Let's talk about Richarlison and Marvin Sechela. Basically, Richarlison has been involved in the most away Premier League goals. That's 4 goals, 3 assists. Obviously, he's 20 years old. Sechela got 2 assists, I believe.
Yeah.
Combined really, really well with the Brazilian. 21 points after 13 games. Best ever start to a top flight season for the club, equaling their total in 1982-83. Guess where they finished that season? 2nd.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
What's not unbelievable, though, is Newcastle's form. They're just so inconsistent, aren't they? Newcastle's 4th defeat in a row in all competitions. And at the start of the season, I kind of had fairly high hopes for them. They were in 4th, weren't they, after 5 games, all starting to unravel a little bit. In the match, they had 52% possession. They had the same number of shots as well as Watford, but managed to convert just 2 into shots on target. That front line is yet again failing them. Just not really good enough, Hosselu and Gale. When you actually look at that on paper, I wouldn't be frightened if I was lining up against them in the tunnel. Even the fans were chanting for the introduction of Mitrovic, which says a lot when Mitrovic is getting bandied about, because he's no good either, is he? This is only the 2nd time Benitez has lost consecutive Premier League defeats. I mean, it's just that sums up this Newcastle team. Benitez is still managing to pull out results, but I just think they're lacking that cutting edge, Newcastle.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Fairly solid at the back, but they've surely got to sign a striker in January. They were not the only team. Southampton need one as well. Maybe Everton looking to sign one. But they travel to West Brom, like you already talked about. Watford host Manchester United. That's going to be a good game. Although Watford are better away from home, aren't they? But nevertheless, a great weekend for Watford. Congratulations, Marco Silva. You're in our winners.
Our next losers come from @ToffeeBoys14, and as you can probably guess from his name, it's Everton.
Oh, what a week for David Unsworth. Yes, they lost 4-1 to Southampton on the weekend, and also lost 5-1 at home to Atalanta.
Quality.
It's got to be one of the worst weeks in Everton's history, hasn't it? I mean, bear in mind that Southampton literally can't score goals. They had 6 in their last 12 home games before this. In fact, they'd only scored 4 goals from open play in the entire season.
Oh my God.
Before Everton rocked up on the weekend. It's absolutely embarrassing now. They've conceded 20 goals and kept 0 clean sheets under Unsworth. That is shocking, but you know what? Good football man. Knows the club, doesn't they? You know, British managers, British jobs for British man. What a load of rubbish. Surely they can hire someone by now. It's been about a month, hasn't it? This is the most goals that Everton have conceded after 13 Premier League games in 70 years. They've conceded 28 goals already. That's the most in the league. It's just all gone to It's awful in all competitions, Pato.
Yeah, all competitions is right. Premier League season is over unless they have to face a relegation battle over the back half. They're out of the Carabao Cup, so I don't know. I mean, do they care? But anyway, they're out of the Carabao Cup. They're obviously out of the Europa League because they're bottom of their group, below Apollon Limassol of Cyprus. Not a great side. They've conceded 15 goals, which is the most of any side in the Europa League. And bear in mind, the Europa League is like a farm tournament. It's embarrassing.
Awful.
They're bottom of their group. They've conceded 15 in 5 games?
Yeah, in 5 games.
They're conceding 3 goals a game in the Europa League. It's unbelievable. They're 16th in the Prem. They haven't won a single one of their last 14 away Premier League games. It's their longest run without a win away from Goodison Park in 20 years. That seems bad to me.
Yeah.
Their last away victory in the Prem, January 21st versus Palace, just before, I think, Allardyce got them firing again. They were an absolute disgrace. Everton are all over the shop. The only good thing that came was that unbelievable Gylfi Sigurdsson goal.
Finally?
Yeah, but I wouldn't expect that to be happening very often.
No.
But anyway, everyone in your club's over 38 or whatever the f***, so it's not going to be great for you going forward. Get a striker in January, maybe hire a manager, and then maybe just like, I don't know, change your colours, move the stadium, pretend, change your name, go into witness protection, because otherwise you're going to be embarrassed forever in English football. Everton, sort it out, come on.
Our final winners. Bit lucky to be in here, but come from HG Traps, and he says the Manchester sides. Why is that, Pato?
Well, it's because pretty much all their rivals, bar Arsenal, dropped points. And let's be real, Arsenal are not rivals to Manchester City. Chelsea, Liverpool, and Spurs all got draws. So that's actually handed the Manchester sides an advantage.
Yes.
Of course, United now 5 points ahead of Spurs. Man City 13 points ahead of them. So this now looks like a 2-horse race. Or basically one horse and
one
like
horse.
a pony, pretty much.
And a jockey.
And it was pretty good for Man City. They managed to get out of jail with this one. They came from behind to beat Huddersfield 2-1 at the Kirklees Stadium.
Great name.
Literally didn't know that that was the name of their stadium
Great
until I read this in the script. This is actually Man City's first Premier League away win in over 20 years when trailing at half-time. So Pep Guardiola is setting new records. And get this one for a new record. In the second half, Huddersfield completed 16 passes.
16.
Man City completed 285.
16!
285. That's absolutely... That basically means that for every pass Huddersfield completed, Man City completed about 18 or 19. That's crazy.
16!
It's so ridiculous. Anyway, it's Guardiola's 11th successive away win in all competitions. That's a new club record. They're 26 games unbeaten in all competitions, including 18 wins in a row. If you count that one that was technically a draw against Wolves that they won on penalties, but we move on from that.
Yeah.
12 wins and a draw, that's their best ever start to a Premier League season. In fact, it's the best ever start for any club in a Premier League season. Nuts. They're going to win the title by about 40 points.
Yeah, they're going to win the title easily, but we are going to talk about Manchester United as well, because HG Trap said the Manchester sides. United stuttered to a 1-0 win over Brighton Hove Albion at Old Trafford. So, not really winners, but in the grand scheme, they are. They continue their 100% record at Old Trafford, 7 wins, no draws, no losses. I'm just going to reel off a few more stats because they shouldn't really be in here, but we may as well get them off. 39 games unbeaten at home as well. That's 441 days since their last home loss.
Wow.
And they've still only conceded 1 goal at home this season. That was, of course, Dwight Gale. So their home record is fantastic, but the football they play at the moment just isn't. They really struggled against Brighton. They only created 3 clear-cut chances, and even those were kind of scrappy ones, weren't they? In fact, they only had 4 shots on target, and the highlight of the entire game was a Victor Lindelof tackle, just like crunching 50-50 for me.
Well, also, it's nice to know he can tackle.
Well, he actually played really well, and it's about time because he started the season very poorly. However, there is a major black spot here. A real negative is that Lukaku could miss the Arsenal game and the Manchester derby because he kicked out twice at a Brighton defender in the box from a corner.
Well, if only you had a decent striker on the bench who could
if
come in and
only
do his job.
Zlatan can come in. Oh wait, yeah, we can bring Zlatan in, but nevertheless, it is a big loss because
I agree.
we lose his mobility, and he has been in fairly good form. Not great form recently, but overall, I would rather have Lukaku starting up front than Zlatan. I have to be honest. Yeah, he's probably going to get a retrospective 3-game ban, as I say, for kicking out at an opponent. But what do you guys think? Would you rather start Lukaku or Zlatan? Vote up in the poll, up there. Go on, click the I button.
Our final losers come from at Anfield Arnold, and this is a bit of a rough one, but we've got Liverpool in here.
Yeah, you could have had Liverpool or Chelsea because they both dropped points, but equally a very tough game. Chelsea now 11 points off Manchester City, and Liverpool 14 points off the Citizens. Probably both of those teams out of the title race now. There's no way Man City drop 11 points between now and May. A big bright spot, though, for the Reds. Mo Salah. What a signing he's proving to be. Scored his 10th goal of the Premier League season to put the Reds in front. And he's top scorer in the Premier League now, averaging a strike every 102 minutes. That is better than Harry Kane. So congratulations, Mo Salah. But substitute Willian scored his first goal of the season, and what a goal it was too. A little chip to the back post, incredible finish, bit of debate if it's a cross or a shot. Willian has claimed he meant to shoot.
Well, of course he claimed that. Why wouldn't you claim that?
But I'm not sure if he did. Do you think it was a shot or a cross? Vote up in the poll there. Just about snatched the point, didn't it? It's the Brazilian's third strike of the week, though, after a brace against Carrier Bag, obviously in the Champions League. Big up the Tesco following. Liverpool have now failed to beat Chelsea at home in the Premier League in 5 consecutive seasons, going all the way back to May 2012. However, one positive for Klopp, he is still unbeaten against Antonio Conte, the only club that Conte is yet to beat since taking over at Chelsea, Pato.
Really?
Yes.
That's quite interesting. Well, Klopp did make some excuse in this game. He said, we were playing against 8 defenders because Chelsea basically played 5 at the back and 3 holding midfielders. But why did you concede then? Like, you had a 1-0 lead. Surely it should be quite easy to stop 8 defenders scoring, but they couldn't do that. And the game, when you look at the stats, looks pretty even. Basically, Liverpool had 53% possession. That's pretty even overall. 16 shots. Chelsea had 11. Liverpool had 4 on target. Chelsea had 3. So,
clinical.
And when I watched a little bit of the game, I thought that Eden Hazard looked like the best player on the pitch for most of it. He got an assist. He attempted 11 dribbles and completed 9 and had an 89% pass accuracy, which when you consider the way that Liverpool swarmed the guy on the ball, especially the way they were kicking Eden Hazard out of this game, I think that's really, really impressive. Their next 2 games, they've got Swansea and Newcastle. Those are like easy points to us. But can they make up any ground on Manchester City? It doesn't look that way, but at least they're going to the next round of the Champions League. Chelsea, not too bad, but Liverpool, you're in our losers.
We're out of time on today's winners and losers. Pato, what should people do next?
They should stay right here on Football Daily and check out our latest training video. Some amazing, skills in there, probably. And also head over to Euro Football Daily and watch this week's Euro Roundup with Zachary Jellab and Michael McCubbin.
What a sexy pair. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you later. Bye.